Rain. Roofs have long protected people and sacred objects from the rainy season and the scorching summer sun. With Japan's distinct four seasons, rainy summers, autumn showers, and snowy winters, roofs play an especially vital role. Wakimachi, Tokushima Prefecture. Traditional townhouses with raised udatsu, roof features, line the street, designated as cultural properties. All the roofs are tiled in traditional hon-gawara buki style. Tiled roofs are strong against fire and highly durable. For this reason, since the technique of tile roofing was introduced to Japan, it has been used primarily for important structures, including temples. The technique of tile roofing has been cultivated and passed down through generations. The world's oldest existing wooden buildings, the Kondo Hall and the five-story pagoda of Horyuji, are roofed with tiles. Buddhism was introduced to Japan around the mid-6th century. Temples such as Asuka-dera and Horyuji were built one after another. Their roofs featured the latest technology of the time, tile roofing. Tile roofing was introduced by tile-making experts from Kudara, Baekje, on the Korean peninsula. The designs on early eve-end tiles closely resemble those found in Korea. Asuka-dera, Japan's oldest temple, was later relocated to Heijō-kyo and became Gango-ji. The main hall and the Zen hall behind it were originally monks' quarters when constructed in the early 8th century. Their roofs are done in the Gyogi-buki style, an archaic method using overlapping conical tiles. In Gyogi-buki, round tiles are made conical, with the top wider than the base, and overlapped as is. This overlapping creates a distinctive, complex surface. Though rare today, roofing patterns resembling this style can be found depicted on the Tamamushi no Zushi. The roof of Gango-ji, with its remaining original tiles in various hues, has a deep, historic charm. Toshidai-ji's roof, famed as a masterpiece of the Tenpyo era, features hon-gawara buki tile roofing. In hon-gawara buki, the joint between the convex and flat tiles is made flush, eliminating height differences. The decorative end tiles at the ridge are in the form of ancient Buddhist icons, now preserved only at Toshidai-ji. Toshidai-ji's tile roof, symbolizing the Tenpyo period, still exudes a dignified elegance. Kofuku-ji in Nara. Founded in the Nara period, was rebuilt in the Kamakura period, including the octagonal hall. Around this time, temples began inscribing their names on the eave tiles. As more architectural forms emerged, so too did the development of roofing tile techniques. Nagoro-ji in Wakayama Prefecture houses Japan's largest existing pagoda. The pagoda, built in the Muromachi period, reflects the flourishing tilecraft and improved quality of that era. The technique for making ibushi-gawara, smoke-fired tiles, now widely used in hon-gawara buki, was established at this time. Innovations in roofing methods led to the perfected form of modern hon-gawara buki. At Zuigan-ji in Matsushima, the family temple of the Date clan. Date Masamune restored the temple to its present form. During the Warring States period, as warlords built castles and temples, demand for tiles surged. Yet, despite their resistance to rain and fire, tiles were prone to freeze damage, especially in northern regions. The eve-end tiles at Zuigan-ji bear the Date family crest, a reflection of the era's focus on clan identity. A large chestnut tree beside the main hall still conveys a powerful presence. At Fushimi Castle, built by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the Toyotomi crest is also found on the tiles. Around this time, tile makers began omitting patterns from the flat tiles that would be hidden beneath the curved ones. Himei Castle, a World Cultural Heritage Site. 68 decorative tile end caps adorn the rooftops, including those on the Grand Keep. Built atop towering stone walls, with white plaster walls and weighty tiled roofs. Himei Castle is also known as White Heron Castle for its elegant silhouette. Tiles, being fire-resistant, became essential for castles. This was a period when many tenshu, main keeps, were built and hon-gawara buki roofing flourished. A remarkable technical innovation emerged in this long history. Craftsmen devised the hon-gawara, a unified piece combining flat and curved tiles. At the Osawa residence, a designated cultural property, Kawara, known as Little Edo, still retains its traditional warehouse-style townscape. All the roofs here use hon-gawara buki. Compared to traditional tiles, hon-gawara is lighter and less costly. This innovation brought tiled roofs from castles and temples to ordinary townhouses. After repeated fires, the Edo shogunate promoted tiled roofing, but it wasn't until the Meiji period that it spread to the general public. Senju-ji, the head temple of the Takeda school of Yodo Shinshu Buddhism, located in Su City, Mie Prefecture. A major restoration of the three-story pagoda, the temple's iconic symbol, is underway for the first time in about 100 years. Let's take a look at the initial dismantling process, using traditional tile roofing techniques for cultural properties. The three-story pagoda is a massive structure, with enough floor space inside to lay out roughly 700 tatami mats. The dismantling and restoration process began in 2000 and will take 8 years to complete. The dismantling of the east-facing gable begins with the removal of the decorative end tile, lion's mouth, on the descending ridge. First, the ridge cap tiles, gamburi-gawara, are removed, then the layered flat tiles, noshi-gawara, and finally the shishiguchi. Next comes the round tiles, maru-gawara. Since roofing is done from the eaves upward to the ridge, dismantling proceeds in reverse, from top to bottom. After the bedding clay beneath the round tiles is carefully removed, the flat tiles, hira-gawara, are detached. For the three-story pagoda's roof tiles, a technique called karabuki, which omits bedding clay under the flat tiles, was used. This method reduces the overall weight of the roof. The first step in tile restoration for cultural properties is removing the tiles. Once the flat tiles are removed, next are the eve-end round tiles, maru-gawara. The final step in dismantling the tiles is the removal of the eve-end flat tiles, hon-gawara. Beneath the hon-gawara lie the hon-gawara, or underlayer flat tiles, because the hon-gawara and hon-gawara are installed as paired sets. They are treated as a set even during removal. The roof base, doibuki, that has supported the weight of the tiles for so many years, is now showing signs of damage in several places. Sanjuji's three-story pagoda used a total of 87,440 tiles. The roof, which has supported about 600 tons of weight, is now reaching its limit. The 5 layers of thatched underlayment have also deteriorated significantly. Cultural properties can retain their historical form only through repeated restoration and careful upkeep. Among the removed tiles, those still usable will be reused. First, a visual inspection is done to select viable tiles. Broken tiles are discarded. Some tiles may appear intact, but have internal cracks. Craftsmen check for cracks by tapping the tile and listening to the sound. The sound of craftsmen tapping tiles echoes through the Senjuji restoration site. The final step in dismantling is removing the doibuki, the roof base beneath the tiles. The boards, fastened with bamboo nails, are peeled off one after another. And with that, the roof dismantling is complete. The 3-story pagoda of Senjuji will soon be reborn with a magnificent new tiled roof. The tile-making process begins with clay extraction. In cultural property restoration, usable tiles are reused. But cracked or damaged tiles must be newly manufactured.
これいいだわ。これいいよ、これ。ほんまツルツルですね。仕事しやすいやろな。これいいだ。これほんま。
Expensive clay cannot be used for roof tiles. Still, to produce beautiful and durable tiles, skilled tile makers seek out the best possible raw materials. Tile makers sometimes visit clay sites themselves to feel and inspect the soil. The clay is left to rest for a period to allow organic matter to break down and eliminate warping when fired. The clay, gathered by suppliers, is handed over to tile makers to begin the manufacturing process. In the past, tile makers kneaded the clay by foot, but now machines have greatly eased the workload. Clay is kneaded using a machine called a donnenki, producing slabs of consistent size and thickness. These slabs are called araji, or raw material boards. Araji are shaped to match the form of various types of roof tiles. With the advent of machines, tiles are now stronger than those made by hand. Depending on the tile type, the araji is pressed into different molds. The molded tiles are then dried. This intermediate stage is called shiraji, base. Flat tiles were once called megawara. Because the clay shrinks during firing, shiraji are made about 10% larger than the final tile. Round tiles used to be called kogawara, and due to their shape, also tutsugawara, tube tiles. By forming the tiles into cylindrical shapes and adding beaded edges, tamabuchi, they became lighter and more elegant than traditional ridge tiles. Making sure the curves and depths of flat and round tiles match is the most difficult task, tile makers say. Nowadays, machines help produce the shiraji. But in the past, all of this was done by hand. This video recreates those traditional manufacturing techniques. Maru-gawara were made using a method called okamaki, an ancient crafting technique. Hon-gawara were shaped by pressing molds, a method used up to the Taisho era. Recreating okamaki today reveals how much skill it truly requires. While flat tiles were also once made using okamaki, their complexity led to the earlier development of mold pressing. Since both methods rely on hand compression, the resulting tiles couldn't match modern ones in strength. Perhaps that's why ancient craftsmen poured their heart into every single tile they made. For cultural property buildings, newly manufactured tiles must be exact replicas of the ones used before dismantling. Craftsmen carefully copy the original eve-end flat tiles, hon-gawara, that were previously on the roof. A plaster mold is then created to enable mass production. Using this plaster mold, eve-end flat tiles are produced. Clay is placed on the mold and pressed with a mold press to imprint the pattern. Since hon-gawara often bear arabesque patterns, karakusa, they are also known as karakusa-gawara. When attaching clay parts together, it's essential to moisten and roughen the surfaces to be joined. This ensures that the karakusa design section bonds firmly with the flat tile beneath it. After the final detailing, the hon-gawara is complete. Next, the eve-end round tiles, maru-gawara, are made. A round tile is attached to the decorated iraji, pressed with the plaster mold. The maru-gawara often features a tomoe crest, especially from the Heian period onward, and are also known as tomo-gawara. As with hon-gawara, the bonding areas are carefully shaped and smoothed. The patterns on maru-gawara are extremely varied, making them useful for estimating the period in which a building was constructed. New onigawara, demon tiles, are also produced. Based on the final dimensions, iraji is cut and prepared for the base. The new onigawara are carefully reproduced by comparing them side by side with the originals. while decorative choices for onigawara are usually left to the artisan. When restoring cultural properties, identical reproductions must be handmade. These intricately shaped tiles must be made about 10% larger to allow for shrinkage during firing. This is where the onushu, master demon tile craftsman, shows their true skill. They rely solely on instinct and experience. It's said that it takes more than 10 years to become a fully qualified onushu. At the ridge of tiled roofs, besides onigawara, you'll find shishiguchi, shibu, and decorative ridge tiles, shanichi. The craftsman who makes onigawara is called an onushu. Originally, these tiles served to seal the ridge and prevent rain infiltration. Over time, they came to serve as both decoration and talismans against evil. The shaped shiroji tiles are dried for 1 to 2 weeks before firing. For efficient firing, tiles are stacked. But care must be taken to ensure even heating, especially around the wood framing the kiln. Even here, attention to detail is essential. Various types of kilns have been used for firing tiles throughout history, but today gas kilns are the most common. After igniting the gas, the tiles are gradually heated inside the kiln to around 1200 degrees Celsius to remove moisture. Firing takes about 24 hours, with only 3 of those hours spent at peak temperature. To prevent cracking or uneven coloration, the temperature is lowered slowly. Although machines regulate the temperature, it's the artisan's experience that determines the settings.